Well, we have a meat formula called Straight Answers. It's not completely balanced, but when you add the goat milk, it is. This is a limited ingredient diet that only contains the muscle meat, organ meat, and ground bone. We also add in raw goat milk whey for the fermentation, for the protection. Okay, so that you have that. Plus the, this only comes in milk cartons. And we're a green certified company, so that's why we use milk cartons, because they are compostable. So 2 pounds come in a 4 ounce, in a half gallon, 4 pounds come in a half gallon size, 2 pounds in a quart size. We also have a detailed formula. This one you don't have to add anything to it. It comes in 4 pounds and 2 pounds. It also comes in patties and nibbles in these boxes. It comes in chicken, beef, and pork. We'll be adding turkey by the end of the year, along with the straight too. We'll have turkey. This is a real quick ingredient panel for our chicken, beef, and pork in the detailed. Besides rotating the proteins, when you change between the proteins, you can see that we use different vegetables in each protein, so you're actually rotating the vegetables too.
So that's not for cats.
Oh, we have the next one will be the cats. Okay? One of the things that we are changing is we are removing the sardine and anchovy oil, and we're going to be adding fermented cod livers. One of the reasons I put the fish stock on the market is that it's becoming known that fish stock is not the best way to deliver, fish oil is not the best way to deliver omegas, and the rancidity could actually be causing more harm than good. They know that whole fish is a better way of providing your omegas versus the oil. So we are actually removing the oils and changing it to fermented cod livers. It also improved our palatability when we tested it and gave better hair coat, so we know that we're delivering it better. Okay, we do have a formula for cats. It's currently in chicken and beef, and will come out in turkey by the end of the year. This product, we actually add the goat milk and the goat milk whey because goat milk is high in taurine, and cats need higher taurine than dogs do. So this comes in the 1 pound container, and we actually, well, I'll talk about that. Okay, a little bit more about our fermentation. Does anybody drink kombucha here? All right, I do too. I make mine up. Okay, kombucha is fermented green tea. We add kombucha to our pork and beef formulas. We add raw whey to our chicken and our cat food formulas. That's how we ferment things. Now, fermentation is a competition, okay? And whoever there is more of wins, okay? So you have to have a lot of good bacteria, and you have to have very little bad bacteria for it actually to be a preservative, okay? A lot of other companies do not use fermentation as their safety step because they're using confinement-fed animals. You know what I'm talking about? Animals that are in small areas that are being fed the wrong food, okay? Confinement-fed animals are the reason we have Salmonella, E. coli, and all these problems in our food system, okay? But if you put your animals outside and feed them properly, they barely have any pathogens. We use non-confinement animals for our meats, so that's why we can use fermentation, and it works for us, and it has for the last 5 years, and works very well. And the other benefits, don't forget, are the probiotics, the organic acids, and additional enzymes. Organic acids will start breaking down the food and making it what's called more bioavailable. Has anybody who switched from another role to Answers Feed Less? Okay. Thanks for that.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of people tell me that they're like, why less? Our food is 65 calories per ounce. Their other food is 65 calories per ounce, but they actually feed less because they're getting more of it. Less is being passed through, more is being absorbed. So that's one of the benefits of fermentation.
It feels like almost feeding them nothing. Mine got so bad at first, but I was like, this feels like I'm feeding them nothing.
Yeah, well, if they're utilizing all the nutrients in it, it doesn't take much. Okay, so we use fermentation over pasteurization. There's a new process out in the market called high-pressure pasteurization. I think about 4, maybe 5 different companies are using it. This is why I left Nature's Variety, because they decided to pasteurize their food. The process is called high pressure pasteurization, and what they do is they apply pressure instead of heat. But what they don't tell you is they apply that pressure, 80,000 pounds of pressure, through a plastic bag. There's a lot of toxins in plastic, okay? Besides the fact that it changes nutrients, destroys enzymes, and many other things. I also consider pasteurization a false sense of security, okay? If you put my product, take one of my 8-ounce patties and put it on the counter, remember there's a whole lot of good bacteria in there, right? So if any bad bacteria falls on it from the air, nothing's going to happen. The good bacteria is going to kill it. If you have a pasteurized product here, there's no good bacteria, right? Everything's killed. Bad bacteria falls on it, what happens? Yeah, so that's why I consider pasteurization a false sense of security, and fermentation the best way to protect the food. Okay, we are a green certified company, okay? I like being green certified because I want to be an environmentalist, but we're also using this packaging because this packaging leaches less toxins into the food than plastic packaging, all right? I got a phone call today from a customer, and he said, love your patties, but not quite fond of that package. I said, well, that's all you're going to get. I said, because you may not like the way the patties look, but I know that that patty's safer and has less toxins in than if I put it in a plastic bag. There's 2 places we do not want to use plastic, freezing and cooking. Because when you freeze in plastic, the fat from the meat just draws all that toxins in. And it might not be too bad for us as adults, because those toxins are going through a 150-pound body, but when you get these small animals, and they're 10 pounds, and some of these dogs nowadays are 5 pounds and 3 pounds. I'm waiting for the 1-pound dog. Like, I don't know how to tell you how to feed that thing. So, just like, I don't know. Wave it under its nose? I don't know.
Just see the ones.
So you recommend, we just put the things in the recycle bin.
The milk carton actually tells you how to do it. Certain places they're recyclable. If it's not recyclable, you can compost it.
Okay, so I usually put them in the recycle bin. I don't know if I'm doing it right.
Well, if you get one of our cartons, there's a little website to tell you how to do it. Okay? Okay, so, okay, I like this. It says, when I learned that you are what you eat, I realized I was nuts. But sourcing is important. Did you guys ever hear of GAP rating, Global Animal Partnership? Okay, we have made a commitment that we are going to use all GAP rated animals. That means no crates, no cages for the lowest and for the best. They're basically tucked in, kiss goodnight, and but no, it's important. For instance, that's the same rating that Whole Foods use. If you ever go into a Whole Foods and you see they have ratings for their meat, that's what they're talking about. I really don't know of any other raw diet who has better sourcing, and it's important to me. I love animals. I love all animals. It doesn't matter if you're a cow or a pig or a chicken, but I also know that my pets need that meat. And I have no problem using it if I know that it's coming from a humanely handled, properly, had a good life type of animal. So that's why we use our GAP ratings. Our beef, those animals are born, raised, processed, never get on a truck, grass-fed, grass-finished, okay? So top-of-the-line products. Our chickens are coming from Murphy's out of New York. Our pork, a lot of our pork comes from Canada because I found out that Canadians do a better job of raising pork than the United States does. So I am all about using the U.S. unless it's not the best sourcing. And a lot of stuff in the U.S. you can't get guaranteed non-GMO because of cross-contamination. All right, I wanna hit this one more time, and I know it's kind of probably a little more scientific than you want, but everything that goes into this brand, we're using the concept of what is that nutrient doing for that animal, and how can it address illness. I handed you out a packet that the names of why feed answers to a dog with kidney disease, why feed answers to a dog, okay? Because that's how I think about formulating our diet. There's a big word called Nutrigenomics. Has anybody ever heard of that? Okay. Does anybody have a science background here? Okay. Back in the 70s when I was in college, they taught us that genetics couldn't be changed. Did everybody ever hear that? Once something was in your DNA, you couldn't change it? Well, they were wrong, okay? They know that in a cell, the cell wall will be able to detect what nutrients are outside of it. And according to those nutrients, that cell wall will tell the cell to make proteins. And that protein will either cover up a genetic problem or expose a genetic problem. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is that cell wall says there's a lot of good nutrients out there. We're not gonna express the cancer gene. Okay, so we know that people can have genes that make them predisposed to certain conditions. And this is not a theory. This is proven. This actually says that if you feed them right, those genes will not be expressed. Okay. If you're interested in learning about it, it's absolutely fascinating. All right. But I want you to understand what our food does. High in probiotics, 70 to 90% of the gut is the immune system. Very high in enzymes, very high in antioxidants, very high in cancer-fighting fats. There are 3 ratios that if you're feeding a raw diet, you better make sure that that raw diet has correct. Calcium-phosphorus ratio, your omega ratio, and your protein to fat ratio. And this is where I see the raw diets going wrong the most. And I'm going to show you in the next slide what I mean. Every raw diet better have done a feeding trial to find out what pH it creates in the body. All right? Because if you feed a food and it creates an alkaline pH in the urine, you're going to get struvite crystals. If you feed a food that creates an acidic urine, you're going to get oxalate crystals. Okay? So these are things that you have to know about what you're feeding to avoid these health issues. I am on so many chat sites where people are making their own home diets, and my dog has this problem, my dog has that problem, my dog has this problem. What supplement should I add for this? What supplement? It's like it's crazy. And the problem is you can't figure that out unless you're sending it off to a lab. And the problem with some of the homemade diets is that it's changing so much, it's never consistent enough. So, why do you want a proper protein to fat ratio? You want a proper protein to fat ratio for kidney and liver health. And I know this is probably what this done for is this woman. Okay. There are 3 nutrients that run the body for energy. Carbohydrates, fat, and protein. Okay? We know that when a dog uses carbohydrates for energy in the cell, lactic acid builds up in the cell. Did you ever hear your muscles getting stiff from lactic acid buildup? Okay. Lactic acid is great for digestion, not good for being in the cells. Okay? That's one of the reasons we don't want to feed kibble, because it's too high in carbohydrates. Okay? Now, when a dog uses fat to run the body, water is the byproduct. That should tell us something. It's not negative, and it's hydrating our animals from the inside out. Fat is what we should run the body off of for energy. Okay? Protein is necessary for every metabolic function in the body. Okay? If you lower protein lower than it's supposed to be, it's going to use its own muscle. Okay? And that's just stupid. Alright? Because then you have muscle wasting. However, if there's not enough fat in the diet, that's when the body goes to protein for energy. Okay? Now here's the kick. Carbohydrates are made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Fat is made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, nothing else. So we know to make energy, what do we need? Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Problem is that protein is made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur. Okay? So when the body goes to using protein as energy, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur get taken out in the liver, stressing the liver, and then gets out through the kidney. Guess what? Stressing the kidney. Okay? That's why your raw diets need to have the right protein to fat ratio. I don't hear other raw diets talking about that ratio. Okay? That's a very important ratio.
And that's what causes pancreatitis, is that right?
Not only pancreatitis is multifaceted. Pancreatitis can be caused by vaccines, it can be caused by using steroids, and it can be caused by stressing the pancreas for multiple reasons. Fat doesn't usually cause pancreatitis. The pancreas is already inflamed. Fat just triggers it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But can the protein and fat imbalance not be one of the triggers for it?
Not really. It has to be inflamed from something else.
Okay.
Okay. We did a 2-year feeding trial with Dr. Amy Nesselrod on our dog food. That's why I know our dog food throws the right pH in the body. We did a 1-year feeding trial on our cat food. The most amazing thing about our cat food trial is that 6 cats ate chicken cat food, our product, every day for 12 months. I found that to be more exciting than knowing all the data that I got from doing that, because I know we got to 3 months. I'm like, all right, they're all still eating it. This is good. And we had 12. I was pretty amazed. I wasn't going to take it past that. Have you guys ever heard of? Oh wait, I'm sorry. That's not the slide I'm on. Did you guys ever hear of the website Truth About Pet Food? It's run by a woman by the name of Susan Thixton. She has voted us as best pet food you can buy in 2012, 2013, and 2014. She does not judge us on our nutritional value. She judges us on our integrity, our being open to tell her anything that she wants, and our customer service. The 800 number rings my cell phone. I keep telling my husband I'm going for customer service rep of the year. He keeps asking me who my peers are, and I have no idea.
And she'll let me give out her email address to anybody who wants.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll ask her, and she's like, "Stop asking me, just give it out."
Yeah. If you look on everything I handed you tonight has the 800 number on. If you call from midnight to 6 p.m. on East Coast time, I may not answer it at midnight, but up to 6 p.m. on East Coast time, I answer the phone. After 6 p.m., my sister answers the phone, so that she's covering the West Coast time. So we have unusual things. We provide you products in milk cartons and boxes. We provide you fermented products. We provide you fish stock, and we provide you curded milk. It's a very unique product line. It has a lot of difference. If you call me up and you say, my dog was diagnosed with X, I can parallel how my food can help you, and I will recommend either being on a straight formula, being on the detailed formula. I will recommend, if I think the goat milk fast is going to help you, I will be on the other end of the phone every time the littlest thing happens and you're not sure if this is normal. You can call me and I can tell you, oh, that's just a natural detox, or maybe we need to go to the vet on that one. Okay? Any questions?
So why not market it to people then, if your family is on it?
Because it's not legal. You can drink the fish stock all you want. There's no laws against that, but the raw milk laws are so strict. If she recommends, I don't know Kentucky laws as much as I do some other laws, but if your state does not allow it and she recommends it, she could go to jail. Not just jail, but fines on top of it. So that's why it's so. When my mother did that, my mother did the milk cure, I wanted to put her on Dr. Oz, and one of the reasons we had a little bit of a family meeting, and we said we have to stay under the radar. If we promote that we're pushing it for humans, then they'll shut us down. So that's why we didn't do it. Any questions? All right, well, everybody gets samples. And if you have any questions, call the 800 number. It's after 6, so Roxanne will get it.
Yeah.